Here's my demo site, and basically the idea is you would go to the dashboard and you would be working in this environment here. This is the article index. You see, I've got all the articles that are currently in the CMS right here, and you could filter by status. So I could say I only want to see the articles that are in draft mode, for example, and then filter. And use this as like a content management system for print. So you've got all these different statuses that we can customize. So we could say that there's a status that's ready for layout. You could go in there and have the layout person select that status and then just pull the stories that are ready for layout out of the system. But I'm kind of getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let me just show you the process going from digital to print. So you would come in here, say add new. You want to write a brand new story. So I would just say, story title here, and then you could use this editor as your tool for writing the story. You could, rather than writing them in Microsoft Word or wherever you do them today. Is that how you do it? Just write them in Word documents? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you could continue using Word if that's what I'm talking about when I say you don't need to jump in, all at once. So, like, we can kind of step into this. So let's say we're just getting started. People are still writing their stories in Word. They could just copy the story here into the body of the article. They'd write their title here, and then they would upload any pictures that they want to include. They could upload from the desktop or use pictures that they've already put into the system. And there's my story. So now at this point, this story is ready to go live on the website. Like, let's say it's complete, it's been edited, and I would then just set the status. Actually, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to set the category so that it shows up on the front page, and then I will choose an edition date for it. Let's see, what is today? 01/12. Add that, and then set featured image. And then I say publish. Okay, and if I go back to the front page here, there's my story on the website. Okay, so in that way you could, and like I said, you could schedule it for the future, or you could go live as soon as you want, with the digital story. So that's up to you, depending on your strategy. Maybe you want to hold back the stories until after the print comes out, or some of them come out early, some of them come out after. But this gives you the flexibility to do either. But this is the really cool part. So now let's get this story into print. I would then just go to the articles index again, and here's that story right at the top. I'll just select that story, and just to note here, I can do any number of stories. I'll just do these 3 stories at one time, but I could do the entire edition if I wanted to, or just one category. This bulk export gives you the flexibility to do any combination of stories. And then I say run the bulk export to InDesign XML. Okay, say apply. That's going to create a zip folder, which I'll download to the desktop, and then extract all. Get rid of this. Okay, now what we have here is a folder with the picture of the courthouse and then pictures from the other stories in that folder. Also within that folder is this XML file. So this is basically a structured document. It's it's that story in a structured format. So everything is tagged. I've got the title here, the body, and title of the next story. It's got the image reference. So now that gives me everything I need to go into InDesign and say import XML, say open, and then in this root folder here, I've got the story title for that story I just created. I've got the baseball story and then this other one. So now let me just open each of these up, and you can see that structure comes through here. I've got my title, body, and graphic, and then now I can just drag these components into place, and then there's my picture. Oh, that's not gonna, I'm gonna want to fit that. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. But you could use this template. You could set these boxes to automatically, you know, InDesign. You can set these boxes to automatically fit proportionately, so that step wouldn't even be required. But you notice the formatting is automatically applied because we've got, I've got these character presets already set in InDesign, and then that XML file has everything tagged as what is a title, what's a body. So the format, the format goes in automatically, and then there's my picture. And you could also do the captions this way. I mean, every part of the story can come through. So that's the whole process. So you write it on the website, export it to XML, any combination of stories or the entire edition, and then you drag and drop each of the components of the story into the template. But let's say I want to submit a story. Maybe I'm a freelancer. Do you have any freelancers that aren't like full-time? Okay, so I'm a freelancer. Maybe I don't need to have access to the website. I could just, write my article here and then write my story in the body and then upload an image. Let's see here. And what you do is you insert the images right into the body of the email, so you can actually kind of format the story this way. Maybe write more after the picture, and then what you would do is send it to a dedicated email address that you would need to provide, so that this email can't be used for anything else. It's just for this feature. So it would be, draft@lavernianews.com, and then I just say send. If I go back to the article index, it's not in there yet, okay? And that's because the system cycles through every 15 minutes and checks for new emails that have been submitted. That's just how it works. But for the purpose of this demo, and you could do this if you really wanted to, I'm just going to go and fetch that email and kind of force it to check it right now. And then if I go back to the articles, there's my story right at the top. It goes in as a draft, and that protects you so that, it's not live on the site. You can have someone check it. But now that story's in there, and the picture is included. And if I just put it in the featured stories category and then again attach my featured image so that I have the thumbnail on the home page, I could say publish and then go back to the home page. Okay, the story's live. That's like a breaking story. That's how you would do your breaking stories. And then I could go through the exact same process to export that story to the print edition.